It's been almost 3 years since I last posted this, and I feel like people could probably still benefit from it just as much as before. So here you go. So I felt compelled to make this TikTok as a quick reminder that racism was invented so that capitalism could exist and to control white people. It does both of those things really well, actually. Let's start with capitalism. Okay, here's a company. Here are the workers and the investors that make this company possible. Here's the profit that the company brings in and each person's contribution portion earned of that profit. Capitalism, simply put, is a government-sanctioned process for very few workers and very few investors to legally steal most of other workers' hard-earned shares of company profits. This is official, according to American law, and you can be sued if you don't perform this theft. Pause to read the judgment in the Dodge versus Ford Motor Company lawsuit. Now, you could make theft illegal so that people keep their earned shares of company profits without fear of it being stolen. That's a concept called socialism. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So people that are rich enjoy capitalism, but the problem is that everyone can vote for things. And they don't want the poors to vote away their right to steal money, because obviously that would be the first thing that everyone does. So they came up with a desperate plan to literally just invent non-capital related wedge issues to divide, trick, and manipulate poor white people into voting to retain capital theft. In comes the concept of race in 1680 within the colony of Virginia after Bacon's Rebellion, invented in order to divide and conquer the poors. They were able to convince people that there is a hard and fast line in here somewhere. And any upward mobility of poor people with melanin will harm the newly created white race of people that don't have quite as much melanin in their skin to protect them from the sun. To the American rich oligarch's surprise, this strategy worked astonishingly well. So they decided to double down on it. They began to invent many more wedge issues to further manipulate whites into as much distrust, fear, and hate of other people within their own socioeconomic status. To do this, the oligarchs began using all of the culture tools that they own to put weight on this wedge and separate people as much as humanly possible. Their four most powerful culture tools being news media, to drum up fear and author a racist, skewed view of reality, as well as a feeling of scarcity due to other poor people with melanin, and definitely not the rich. Think tanks, to hone wedge issue strategy. Christian religion, to train unquestioning trust that what rich people tell them is true without any burden of proof, and also reinforce susceptible people's in-group cognitive biases. And then police, created to betray their own working class, and guided by racism to systematically unalive or remove huge swaths of undesired people from the voting system completely. Currently, 1 million people in prison unable to vote, and 4.6 million felons unable to vote. You see, race never need be invented during feudalism because there was no voting. Everyone was just referred to by their nationality. So the next time you hear someone say something racist or homophobic or bigoted, you'll know that they're just being submissively manipulated and controlled by someone else with an agenda for the benefit of the wealthy. And that's too bad, because we could really use their help in bettering everyone's lives. P.S. This is why all hate is manufactured and perpetuated in order to control the slightly more affluent populations, or just pit anyone against anyone in order to keep them from getting together and stopping wealth theft. It's interesting, actually, within our society right now that having $1 billion makes you rich, and there's no distinction within our culture as to whether you stole it using this capitalistic theft method or you earned it. If you have $1 billion, then you're rich, period, full stop, no questions asked. It's probably because it's impossible to earn.